Okay, so you're thinking about starting a web design company in 2024, and it's time to answer the million-dollar question. Should you remain a freelancer or should you start an agency? In this video, I'm going to break down the pros and cons of the freelancer model and the agency model. So that way you can make an educated decision on which direction you want to head with your web design company. And be sure to stick around till the end because I'm going to introduce a third strategy, which is the one I follow, which has led me to have consistent months of over $5,000 in revenue and even a few in the 5 figures. So let's jump right into it by discussing the differences between a freelancer and an agency owner when it comes to web design. The big difference is that a freelancer is the solopreneur, the hustler, and they're working by themselves. A lot of times, this is where we're going to start. You're probably side hustling. Maybe you're listening to this in a little hidden tab while you're actually doing your 9 to 5. That's okay. That's where I started too. But over time, you might have these dreams and aspirations to have a physical location, a full team, and you might just want to be the captain of the ship while other people actually do the work. So this is the age-old question, freelancer or agency? But if you're just getting started, you may want to know, what are some realistic expectations for that first year once you go all in on your web design business? Recently, Kyle over at the admin bar did a survey of over 1,000 freelancers and agency owners to get some real stats, some real data on what web design business owners are doing and what they're actually taking home. Now, I found this statistic startling. 68% of web design business owners are grossing less than $100,000 per year. Now, this may seem shocking to you because most talking heads on YouTube are going to tell you how they're going to get you to 6 figures as quickly as possible. But this is the real data right here. So I want you to recognize that if we don't set up systems and we're not getting consistent clients, there's a good chance that we won't hit 6 figures. In case you're wondering how much money I made in the first year of my business, and granted I was side hustling for most of that, I grossed about $9,000 in change in my first year. Don't worry, that's changed drastically recently. But that's a realistic expectation for your first year while you're still side hustling. Now here's the other stat. Less than 10% of freelancers and agency owners took home more than $100,000 last year. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. Plenty of people are doing it. And so how do we actually get to that number? Right now I'm on track to gross 6 figures, and my goal is to net 6 figures by the end of this year. So I believe it's possible, but you have to take certain steps. So now that you have realistic expectations and you know you're not going to get rich quick or overnight, let's talk about the pros and cons of the freelancer model first. Now, the pros of being a freelancer are all the dreams of being a solopreneur, right? You're working for yourself, you set your own hours, you can go on vacation whenever you want, which will probably be hard because of the lack of money, which we just discussed. But someday we'll be able to do all those things. So these are all definitely pros for being a freelancer. But what are the cons? Because you're a one-man or one-woman show, everything falls on you. Not only do you have to work in the business, but you have to work on the business. And it's hard to set that admin time aside. And also, as you get busier, you're going to run out of time because you're going to get so busy with client work. Now, there are some people that run 6-figure agencies in the freelancer mindset, but usually what they have to do is niche down to a specific industry and almost have like a boutique studio. And so that way they only have to take on a couple high-ticket clients per year, and that's the way they get it done. But the problem is you can't do that your first day when you're starting your web design business. So it's totally okay to work your way down the path. What you're doing today might not be what you do down the road, but that's your way to getting to 6 figures in the freelancer route. Now let's discuss the pros and cons for the agency route. Now the pros should again seem pretty obvious, right? All of a sudden, now you have a team. You're not by yourself. Whew, feels good to have some backup. You should also have capacity for more clients, and naturally that means that you could have more earning potential. So your ceiling has now raised. We like that. That might get us to some of those trips we talked about earlier, right? And another really big pro is now that you're running the business, you could take a step back. Just be the captain of the ship, the coach on the sidelines, and you can watch your little team build your business, and you might actually be able to enjoy life a little bit more and spend less than 80 hours a week doing client work. I don't know anybody that does that. That's me, by the way. Okay, not anymore. So what are the cons when it comes to running an agency? Well, the biggest one is that now you have to manage people. Now, of course, there's a lot of good things with managing people. It's very rewarding to grow people and be a leader. But naturally, there will come problems, especially the more people you have. There's also this almost rat race vibe where you're like, where do I stop? If you really start clicking, there's really no prescribed stopping point. You could take on 50 clients, you could take on 5,000 clients, but as you grow your client base, you're gonna need a bigger team to handle that, and that just means more human drama. And now, specifically talking to the creatives out there, if you're getting into this because you love the art or the design, chances are you're gonna spend more time managing relationships between people than getting the box shadow just right on the CTA button. And that might not resonate with you. So that's something to think about if you're considering the agency route. Now, let me introduce you to the model I've been using. Now, feel free to brand this however you want. I like to say that I run a lean and mean agency because people like the ethos behind the agency name, but I also like to be clear that I'm not your typical agency. So what am I doing differently? Well, I'm doing what a lot of people before me have. It's finding that perfect medium in the middle. I'm not worried about having this giant team and taking on as many clients as possible, but I'm also not working by myself. So having a lean and mean agency means taking on subcontractors as you need them. And if you can build a good relationship with them, there's a good chance that they can come on as team members even if they stay in the subcontractor role. I have no problem handing off the design to the person that I do because they get it done way faster than me and it looks way better. But I also know that when they get done with that, they go do something else. And I think that's really cool. Like, that is the exciting part of this whole tech entrepreneurial gig, is that you can do multiple things and you can do what feeds your soul and hopefully also put some money in the bank account, right? The nice thing about this model is you can add people slowly as your client base is going up and as you feel more comfortable to take on more people. The nice thing is that once you're able to get this lean and mean team on board, what I've found is that I can get stuff done way faster and I'm spending less time on client work, which means I can go out and work on building the brand, getting more clients, and that's been really helping the business grow. Now, what are the cons? Again, I'm doing less of the design work, but I don't really mind that. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent trying to get the CSS just right to make that button line up just perfectly with the image above it or things like that. It doesn't take away from what I do for my clients by offloading that to somebody else. In fact, I think I'm actually getting better results for my clients. Now, probably the biggest con is that I do feel that pressure. Because the lean and mean team isn't super committed to me because they're not full-time employees, that means that they might move on someday, or if my business gets slow and then I reach back out to them, they might be busy with other projects. So that's just something you have to consider with the lean and mean team. You're gonna have to be flexible, and there's a chance that you might have to dip back into the creative work, but I'm okay with taking on that risk right now. And so that's a big question that you want to ask yourself, is if you don't want to take that on, it might be worth just going with the agency model. It really depends on what you want out of this business. If you're really into the creative process, then you probably want to trend towards that boutique freelancer model and work on trying to find the perfect niche and to try to find more higher paying clients, because that's how you'll get to a more manageable amount where you can afford to buy a home in America these days, because it's not that easy. Now, if you really like managing people and you're not so big in the creative side of things and you don't mind taking on the risk of having people on full-time salaries, then the agency model might be perfect for you and you can serve even more clients and hopefully get them amazing results. But if you're looking for a balance, many web designers have called it so many different things, but I like to call it the lean and mean agency, and I feel like it's that Goldilocks zone, that just right in between freelancer and agency owner. That lean and mean agency is right there for you, where you can build up that small team, you can serve more clients, and hopefully take a step back, take a deep breath, and enjoy the benefits. But none of this matters if you're not getting clients. So make sure you check out this video next, where I go through my step-by-step process for getting more web design clients in 2024. Go ahead and hit that like button below if you want to help out some fellow web designers on their business journey. Thanks so much for watching this video. Good luck with your web design business. I'll catch you in the next video.